Megan, it's pretty much what we predicted in terms of the number of Big Ten teams that are making it into the tournament. Anyone you feel like that got slided simply just not making it in? I mean, Michigan State's in, Maryland's in, and we know Michigan really wanted to get in.
I think the committee gets a lot of flack, and I will give them flack as we continue talking about a couple subjects regarding the tournament. However, they got it right with the amount of women's teams in the tournament. Maryland proved they were an NCAA tournament team by making it to the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament, picked up a big win over Ohio State in the process of that. Michigan State did enough in the regular season to get in. Michigan, another team, made it to the semifinals of the Big Ten tournament. They deserved to be in the NCAA tournament. And obviously Nebraska made that great championship run. So those were three bubble-ish teams, if you will, before the Big Ten tournament. 7 deserved to get in. In fact, what's so wild, 12 of the 14 Big Ten teams are actually playing in postseason tournaments when you count the WBIT and the NIT. So pretty cool in that sense. But where the committee really did some people dirty was Iowa is a 1 seed. This is the hardest regional I've ever seen. The 1 seed is Iowa. The 2 seed is UCLA. The 3 seed is LSU. And the 4 seed is Kansas State. Kansas State already beat Iowa earlier in the season. They played twice and split. But Kansas State won at Iowa in that game. UCLA at one time was second in the country, have a great big and Lauren Betts, who's 6'7". LSU, we all know the story there, beat Iowa in the national championship game a season ago. Caitlin Clark is literally driving TV numbers right now. Why would you put her in a position where it is so difficult to get to the Final Four, where you're trying to continue to build off of all this momentum? Or maybe they're just trying to get high TV ratings from the get-go throughout that whole entire week. Very interesting that they put Iowa in such a tough regional. Everybody on ESPN last night, all the analysts talking about how crazy it is that they would put the Hawkeyes in this situation. But nonetheless, it's March Madness, baby. And their attitude in Iowa is to be the best, you have to beat the best.
What about the number 1 seeds overall? I mean, we knew South Carolina. I knew there was going to be a Pac-12 team. USC locked it in with winning the Pac-12 tournament, the last Pac-12 tournament. And then Iowa, you knew it was a Big Ten team, right? I mean, Ohio State, probably the way they performed in the tournament affected that. But Texas, I didn't necessarily see. You think them winning the Big 12 tournament? What?
It had to have been that, because they lost to Oklahoma in the regular. I mean, Oklahoma won that league. So, that's what's a little confusing. But look, I mean, Texas is a team that defends at such a high level that it doesn't surprise me. They were deserving of a potential 1 seed. Stanford was another team that was going to be in the conversation for it. I don't think, with 6 losses, I think Notre Dame would have been hard to make a 1 seed, probably, even though they won their tournament. So I would say they got it right. Ohio State maybe would be your other one that should have been a harder look. But overall, you look at this matchup, I think Ohio State actually has a really good draw. You're going to see them at potential. What I find fascinating is in the second round, potentially, you see Ohio State versus Duke. Celeste Taylor on Ohio State came to the Buckeyes from Duke just last season. That could be really fun and dramatic. But then, you have, a potential Ohio State-UConn matchup, which would be a rematch from a season ago in the Sweet 16, where Ohio State beat UConn. And UConn only has, I think, 8 eligible players for the tournament because of all the injuries they've dealt with. So it's just going to be fascinating all around. But I think Ohio State actually has a pretty solid path to the Final Four.
The women's game is so great, Megan. I mean, we remember when we were growing up, you literally could just fill out the bracket, high seed, high seed, high seed,
All chalk, favorite
yeah. And so I love that we really have to think, and there's discourse over these matchups. And you get into 2, 3, 4 seeds that are really, really, I mean, you can even go beyond, but I'm just saying, it's a toss up. So exciting stuff on the women's side.